Boo! Happy Halloween! It's Ciara Myst from RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18! I told you we were going to say it a bunch more. I'm so sorry. I'm not that sorry. We are gearing up for episode 1, and oh my gosh, this journey is so crazy, and I am so excited to share it with all of you. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm going to be posting videos every single week, talking about my fashions, my makeup, maybe doing some horror reviews outside of Drag Race, all sorts of amazing, fun things that live in the wacky world of Ciara Myst, so you do not want to miss it. Leave a like, leave a comment down below. The algorithm really loves that. It lets the internet know that I am in fact fabulous. And you want to make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell notification so that way you do not miss a single video that I drop on my channel. Every week I will be recreating the makeup that I delivered to you on the runway of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18. So this is the first official video of my series Runway Recreation. Now this, I guess, is technically not a runway, but the entrance at this point is basically a runway, or at least I treated it like that. So today we are going to get into ooky spooky Halloween glam, because we gotta go stomp into that workroom. Now this beard and this turtleneck are not gonna stay on, so I need to go ahead and shave, take care of these eyebrows, and throw a wig cap on so we can get into the glam. Let's do it. Well, jump scare. Now I know that we're gonna get to know each other over the course of this season and beyond, but I figured we can talk a little more here. While I prime my eyes with my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, I can tell you a little bit about myself. I obviously love Halloween. All things horror and ooky spooky and creepy and weird and sci-fi and fantasy, all of that lives in the world of Ciara Myst. Before doing drag, I was no stranger to makeup. I worked as a professional makeup effects artist in Atlanta, Georgia, and a little bit in Chicago and around some other places. I worked on film, television, photo shoot campaigns, live events, mostly doing prosthetics and body paint, and drag didn't come until a little bit later. The magic for me was finding out that I could bring all of that into my drag, that it didn't have to just be beautiful or high femme. Don't get it twisted, I like being beautiful. And there's beauty in the horror. So all you ooky spooky divas, I see you. Now, we are going to have a runway recreation every week on the Ciara Myst YouTube channel, so you'll get to see plenty of my makeup process, which sometimes gets out of order. Sometimes we skip steps, sometimes we move things around. The chaos. A Leo with a Virgo moon, I'm always at odds with myself. But typically, I like to start with my eyes. So I'm going to lay down a base of Clown White Cream from Ben Nye to give me a nice blank canvas so I can add a ton of eyeshadow. Big drag, it's coming back. Hello. Now, get into this, the no brow situation. I know that a lot of the dragoons get into the no brow situation for Drag Race, and I was one of them. My esthetician was so sad when I told her I was shaving my brows because she was like, no, you have great brows. Oh my gosh, I love them. And she's not wrong. I love my brows. However, go back in time on the channel. The brows took forever to block. I love a smooth eyebrow surface, and that takes a while when you have thick, full brows. Some of the girls have not figured that out yet. And I said, oh, we're gonna be on a time crunch. I'm not wasting time gluing my eyebrows down. Hello. I will just dig into my little alien roots and be an egg the whole time. And honestly, I kind of live. With a nice creamy white mask, let's blend out our canvas. Looking ghoulish, looking goblinish. Seems quite on brand. Let's go ahead and set this with some powder. As I mentioned on the show, I live in Indianapolis, Indiana, which many people would not be able to identify on a map, and that's okay. Can't blame you. The crossroads of America, as they used to call it. That is a lie. Nobody is traveling to Indiana right now. Our canvas is set. I moved around a ton as a kid, so I've lived all over. I love traveling, but for the last several years I have called Indiana home. I have a fabulous drag family, the House of Diva, all of whom helped make this entire journey possible, along with several other fabulous members of my community, making up Operation Stardust. That was my, secret code name, because nobody's allowed to know that you're going on Drag Race. But you need help. So we had a code, so that way people out in public didn't know. And I'm a business woman. We had a Slack channel. If y'all don't know about Slack, you're probably better for it. Listen, I love a tangent, I love a monologue. Let me start this eye makeup while we continue to get to know each other. The plot for today is Halloween, spooky spooky current raining. One of the makeups that I won the House of Love contest with was this spider. So this is a similar makeup plot, but with slightly adjusted colors. So I'm going to start by basing out a crease shape in Halloween orange. The general shape of this eye is actually kind of like a Spider-Man mask eye. It's very severe and swoopy, so we want everything to feel really yanked up. Oh, I can give you some, insider tea into, the morning and, how the whole day went with the entrance. So that was like a weird, very special, sweet bonding thing that happened like right at the beginning of this. So getting up that day, I get to like do my skincare, I shave, I'm like trying to take it all in because this is a very special day. It's like, I'm not married right now. I've not been married. I've been in weddings before. Those are like special occasions and you want to just like luxuriate in them because everything is fleeting. So I want to like live in the moment. So I'm like sitting in this gorgeous vanity that they have set up for us and I'm painting, I'm drinking my coffee, I'm doing my like I'm just like feeling the vibes, but it's silent because normally I would like listen to music or a podcast, but like we don't have those things. So it's just quiet, me and my thoughts. And I was just feeling very focused and excited and creative and like doing this look for my entrance was something that felt just so correct. You know what I mean? Like, as a Halloween ooky spooky kind of diva who can also serve plenty of other looks, believe me, this is where I thrive. This is a huge part of who I am. Damn. Well, not using that orange. One thing you will absolutely learn about me on the show, on this channel, everywhere, is I like to work big and messy. I'm like water. You give me a space, I will fill it. When it comes to makeup, I'm not trying to like into the details the whole time. That's for the end. Drag can be ugly until the very end. The details and the finishing touches are what lock it in. If you're ugly after that, then like, I can't help you. So some people might be out here with like tiny little precision brushes doing like all these like little intricate things, and I'm like, baby, I don't got time for that. Let's paint big broad strokes. Then we'll rein it in. So what are we doing now? We're painting broad strokes. And I'm blending out my Halloween pumpkin orange with yellow because that's going to help be sort of the through line to the green. Because the green is going to have yellow undertones, so it's like kind of art theory and like, based on my calculations, I think that'll make it look good. I'm going to deepen and define this crease area just a little bit. Eventually there's going to be black in there, so I want to just give it a little landing spot. And we'll buff that back out with that orange. Now that I look like I'm ready for Cirque du Soleil, I'm going to carve out that crease just to clean it up so we have a nice blank slate for our lid. This house is clean. Okay, hold up. Remember how I was telling you sometimes things go out of order? I just got so excited to talk to you all. It's the first day. We're meeting each other. I forgot to put in my contacts. So now's like a really good time for me to do that and ruin my makeup. So let me do that. Minor casualties, but I think we figured it out. Now, it's time to get some green up in here. Essentially, I want to add like a nice slime green, Halloween green to the lid area. This is also going to act as like a map for my eyeliner. Oh yeah. Taking what little of this dark green that I have, I'm just gonna pop that in here. I'm working with crumbs on this one. Got a whisper of an idea of a green lid and a roadmap for our liner. So let's go ahead and do the same thing on this side. The green is on. Admittedly, this eye is a little funkadoodle. This eye, she's a little better. I don't have the green that I used on the day. And whatever green this is, she's got a mind of her own. To finish up the general eye shape, I'm going to go ahead and go in with some orange under the eye and blend that out from the liner. We're going to be using the same shades that we did before, just with a little smaller brush. Alright, we are looking ooky spooky, but maybe not for the right reasons right now. I'm going to disappear, clean up some details, go ahead and add my black liner, just so I can have something pretty to look at for a little bit before we get into the foundation. Eyes are clean and we are ready to get into the skin. Now I'm going to pay special attention to this area here since we obviously have some tears from when I put my contacts in. I'm going in with all cream makeup today. Most of this is by Eve Pearl. Obviously the Con White is from Ben Nye. I love how blendable these products are. And I'm going for a little pale, but not like ghost white. I'm pale as is, so I still need it to match my skin. So I mentioned that the entrance day was a very early call time. To be expected. And I was secretly hoping to be like one of the first people in. First would have been amazing. I just love like a meet and greet moment. I love talking to other people. What I don't love is like walking into a room full of strangers like the party has already started and then I have to take time to get to know everybody. I like getting to know everybody and being able to do that in like smaller groups. And I just love like screwing around. So like a small group of people would be fun to me. Now I'm excited. Now all the feelings are like coming to life. It's all happening. And I can hear other girls in there. And with how much I had waited, I was like, oh, well maybe I'm last. So then I start role playing that in my mind. Girl, I'm not even last. Lesson number 1, walking into Drag Race. Just go with the flow. Everything is gonna change. Twists and turns. You are not able to predict anything. Loving how this is blending together. And now let's blend this out. Time to deepen with some cream contour. So I don't do like a crazy harsh contour. I like to just sort of round out the side of my face, but I do focus on applying contour to like my jaw area, and then I will detail with powder contour around my nose. Typically when I'm like a human drag queen, I prefer a more bronzy contour just to like warm things up. I have like pink and yellow undertones, so I find it's the most flattering, even if it's not like a true shadow color. But today I might keep things a little bit ooky or spookier. Might even mix in a little gray to see how that just sort of rounds the shape there, and then it brings the jaw up just a little bit. And then I'll blend that kind of down so it's not so severe. And as you can see, these Eve Pearl creams are incredibly blendable. So like over blended here, just taking my highlight beauty blender and tapping that back out. Now let's lock all of this in place and knock it down a bit with some translucent setting powder. Now before we get into powder contour, the last thing that I like to do with a liquid or a cream is contour or lift the tip of my nose. So I'm taking some Maybelline Superstay in a pretty dark shade, so that way I have a stark contrast for a really cartoony lift. What this does in my makeup design is it helps to shorten my nose, and then the rest of the contour actually helps to kind of flatten my nose shape, giving me this really illustrated sort of comic book look. I have a lot of space between my top lip, which is admittedly very small, and my nose, as well as between the bottom of my lip and my chin. And so Blair St. Clair once said, Ciara Myst makeup is all eyes and all lips, and that's entirely true. I achieve that by shortening the spaces in some of the other areas of my face, because the eyes are the nipples of the face, and if you're gonna do a lip sync, you better have some lips. So those are the important parts. So with all of our wet products on, we can go ahead and get into our powder contour. I'm gonna try and keep this a little bit like cooler toned, and some of that's gonna come into play with the blush, but I'm gonna start building up the darker shades of my contour. This is the shade Mahogany by Anastasia Beverly Hills. Thank you. And I'm gonna take just a little bit of gray and pop that here in the corner, because I'm gonna try and cool down all of the contour areas with a little bit of super white powder, and the gray is gonna act as a really nice like deep shadow that lives in that sort of undead realm. Now I'm dipping into Rosewood. I need to sort of blend this out. Now let's contour the nose. So I do a combination of like nose contour and blush, like I said, to help flatten the shape of my face right here in the middle where it's long, which obviously only works from the front, but drag is best viewed from the front. But I also am rounding out the shape of my eye even more just to exaggerate this shape. Again, mostly eyes, mostly lips. So I do that by creating just a typical nose contour pinch. And I like it to be decently diffused, like it's not so sharp right here. So we just kind of taper those edges. And then I'm going to build up the darkness mostly right here in the middle of the nose and actually start to work out. The shape we're creating is an extension of the crease to round out this part of our eye. And I'm not going to go too far right now because I'll need to hit it with the blush. Finding the right blush for this is a little tricky. I want something that's sort of like a cool mauve tone, but not so undead that I feel corpsey. It's a balance, you know, life and death hangs in the balance. And I'm taking this color from Juvia's Place and just starting to work it mostly out towards the middle of my face but also blending it into that contour. All of this I want to be really diffused. See that shape we're starting to create? If I need to add more depth right here in the middle, I can build that up. And when I inevitably put too much product on, we just take that NYX mattifying powder and we're gonna knock it all back. I do want just like a soft pink blending out from that into the skin, since I have such like a pink undertone. It's like a little, like a slight fluffy brush. And just a little girly pink. Just a little bit. That adds a little bit of life. Here's a Roni. Okay. Now for the blush on the cheeks, one of my favorite parts. I love blush. I'm gonna try and maintain sort of a cool tone blush again, but I also will end up blending a little bit of yellow right here, so that way I have a nice transition from the cheek into the eye makeup. And yes, don't worry, we are gonna go back and re-intensify these colors, clean up the details. Like I said, drag is ugly until the end with the details. Don't you worry, I'm not worried. Calm down. I need to go ahead and clean up the details around the eye, re-intensify the colors, add my little like spiky lash details, all of that good stuff. And while I do that, I think I might talk through some of my first impressions of my season 18 castmates in our entrance looks. If you want that full tea piping hot, you are going to have to go over to my Patreon. The link is in the bio if you want to check that out, or you can go to ciaramyst.com. We're going to be posting lots of good stuff, behind the scenes, insider gossip, little tricks and treats, little sneak peeks in your goodie bag, so you're not going to want to miss it. Otherwise, I'll be right back. Alright, we are back from the Patreon, and it is time to get into the lips. I know this is the moment you've all been waiting for. I promise it is not ultimately that exciting today. So the way I did my lips on this day was with mostly black eyeliner pen. Oh my god. Okay. We will have many a Ciara Myst lip tutorial, but why am I so gassy? I'm falling apart. We're going to start by lifting the corners of the mouth, and then we're going to create the cupid's bow and the bottom of our lip. I basically want to go halfway between the top of my natural lip and the bottom of my nose. I'm going to connect that to the middle of that lift line, and then extending that same line below, we're going to do our best to create symmetrical curves. So we've got a fierce Ciara Myst pout going, and then we're going to add a little bit of lift, a little bit of joy back into this by adding those little corners at the end of my lip. So we're going to take that lift that we added earlier and just draw straight across. Like that. And like that. Gorgeous. So on a different lip, we would probably add a lot more dimension. With this, it's meant to be a black lip with just like a little bit of green glitter. So we're just gonna fill this all in with black eyeliner. And listen, I know there are some fierce liquid black lipsticks out there. Mine is out, so you do what you can. We need to intensify this lip with some black eyeshadow, and then to give just like a little bit more dimension to this lip, because normally we would have like pout and highlight and dimension and all of that good stuff. I'm going to add some green sparkly glitter. Now normally I would use Slime Time by Trixie Cosmetics. They don't make that anymore, and it was one of my favorites. So Trixie, you and I gotta talk and see how that gives like just like a little bit of dimension to this. All right, we are sufficiently lipped and glittered. Now to get on the lashes. And just like that, the look is finished. I am feeling ooky spooky and mystical. It has been so fun to sort of relive the feelings of getting ready to walk into that workroom the first time. And holy shit, we are about to go on the RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18 roller coaster together. Thank you so much for spending time with me. Let me tell you, you are in for a wild ride this season. I can truly say that RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18 is unlike any season that you've seen before. So buckle up, it is going to be a ride, and I am going to give it to you every week. And if you feel inspired by any of these looks and you want to try them on yourself, you want to draw them, whatever, I want to see it. Tag me, I want to see it. Share your artistry with me. My hope is that my art inspires you and your art inspires me, and we can just all make the world a little bit of a more beautiful place. I know that sounds crazy when I look scary like this, but I'm really nice. Now I gotta get on the wig and the heels and the whole kit and caboodle and go to set to take these photo shoots. Feeling scared yet? You should be.